So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to economics lecture number 6 of this lecture series called Prelims Power Play 2026. Through this lecture series, you will revise your entire syllabus for UPSC prelims examination, both static as well as current affairs. Yes, through this lecture series, you will revise your entire current affairs also. You don't need to go through these monthly current affairs magazines of different institutes or PT 365 or other documents like these, okay? Just follow this lecture series and your entire syllabus would get revised, static plus current affairs, provided you follow this lecture series from now till your prelims examination. And by the way, the good news is you just have to spend 1 hour daily. That's it. To follow this lecture series, you just have to spend 1 hour daily. Okay. Now, in this lecture series, well, you will get the lectures on YouTube, but this lecture series would be beneficial only if you revise and memorize the lecture from the notes. Then you ask your doubts. We have enrolled you in WhatsApp groups. Ask your doubts over there and be regular with the tests. You are getting access to exclusive test series, right? Be regular with those tests. Those tests are carefully designed so that you revise everything. So follow these 4 steps. Watch the lecture on time. Don't keep your lectures pending. Revise and memorize from the notes. Ask your doubts and be regular with the tests. These 4 golden steps are absolutely essential. And if you'll follow these 4 golden steps from now till your exams, well, you don't have to worry about your prelims exam then. Okay? All right. Now, to register for this Prelims Power Play lecture series, well, the registration details are given in the comment section below. Okay? Plus, there is a number also. If you find any difficulty as far as registration is concerned, don't worry about it. Just text us on this WhatsApp number. Just WhatsApp us on this number. Okay? All right. Now let's begin with today's session. And our today's topic of discussion is product nation. Now look, this topic is small. Okay, this topic is very small. The lecture would be small. But that doesn't mean that this topic is not important. In fact, there is every chance that they will ask an MCQ from this topic. It has become extremely important. Okay. In fact, all government employees, in fact, all policymakers in India want India to become a product nation. Now, what is a product nation? To understand that, you need to understand some context, okay? So listen to me carefully. If you'll understand this context, then you'll understand this entire topic, okay? Okay. You all know that recently, in this year particularly, USA under Donald Trump was bullying India. Donald Trump was bullying India by slapping tariffs on India, right? And the reason that was given by America for this bullying was that India is buying a lot of Russian oil. So we want to penalize Russia and we want to penalize the business partners of Russia. So India was getting these tariffs because India was buying Russian oil. But do you know what? China was and still is buying way more oil from Russia than India. China buys a lot more oil. Europe buys a lot more natural gas from Russia than India. Yet, USA has singled out India, despite the fact that China buys a lot more. Now, why? Well, that's because if USA will punish China, China also has certain weapons through which it can punish USA and the rest of the world. How? Well, China produces a lot of products, okay? And most of the countries of the world depend on China for these products. Plus, the biggest advantage that China has is rare earth magnets, which are used in electric vehicles and many other machines all over the world. China has near monopoly as far as rare earth magnets are concerned. So if USA will slap tariffs on China, China replied by putting some export restrictions on rare earth magnets. And this basically worried the electric vehicle industry of USA. So China can hurt USA back, and that is why USA is not hurting China that much as it is hurting India, right? So policymakers in India realized that we need to have similar weapons like China. Okay, now China is a product nation. India is not. And that is why it is difficult to bully China. There are certain products that China produces for which the world depends on China. And that is why you can't bully China for that, because you have dependency on China. That is not the case with India. That is why policymakers are saying India needs to be a product nation. It is a high priority now, so that we are not bullied in future. Okay, so let's unpack this concept called product nation. Okay, so let's begin. You understand the context now? Okay. So economics lecture number 6, product nation. So as far as the definition of product nation is concerned, a product nation is a country that produces and exports a substantial volume of high value goods. not low value goods, because low value goods can be produced from in any country. Low value goods can be produced anywhere. Okay, so if China is not selling low value goods to America, America will buy it from somewhere else. But if China is producing high value goods, such is the value of these goods that China has attained expertise in producing these goods, and no other country has expertise in that. So the world depends on China for this. So condition number one is you produce high value goods, and you produce these high value goods so much so that you're a net producer, you're a net exporter of these goods. The world depends on you for these goods. Okay, I'll give you an example. Taiwan is a product nation, and the product it produces is semiconductor chips. The world depends on Taiwan for semiconductor chips. Okay, South Korea, the world depends on South Korea for consumer electronics. Samsung is South Korean. Okay, similarly, there are many other countries. Okay, these countries are product nation. Why? Because they produce high value goods, plus they are net exporters, net producers. That means they produce enough for their own population, plus they produce surplus so that they can export. And they produce those goods which are high value, which the world needs right now. You understand? Countries like that are called product nation, and it is very difficult to bully such countries. Okay? It shifts from being primarily a consumer or assembler to a creator of globally competitive and innovation-led products. Listen to me carefully. You're not a mere consumer of semiconductor chips. Okay? Or you are not the assembler of semiconductor chips. That what if Taiwan was a country where it imports parts and then just assembles semiconductor chips? Then Taiwan wouldn't have been product nation. Taiwan is special because it innovates, it designs semiconductor chips, which is a very difficult thing. Assembling of semiconductor chips is very easy, anyone can do it. Designing is the key part, wafering is the key part, right? So if you are a mere consumer or an assembler, okay, you just import parts and assemble a mobile phone. You are not a product nation. But if you create a mobile phone, design its software, then you are a product nation. Okay, it involves investing in the entire product cycle or value chain. Okay, we'll talk about value chain, including research, development, design, branding, then distribution. Investing in all these things. Okay, so if you are producing a product, okay, you're not a product nation. You're a product nation if you produce a high value product, and that high value product is innovated in your country, and you're a net exporter. You cannot be mere consumer or low cost assembler. Initially in the 1980s, 1990s, China was a low cost assembler, but China became a product nation later. It started innovating, okay, producing products which no other country could produce. You understand? India needs to be this. Clear? Now, some examples: Taiwan when it comes to semiconductor chips, China when it comes to rare earth magnets, all electric vehicles run on rare earth magnets, South Korea when it comes to consumer electronics, Germany when it comes to auto engineering machinery, certain chemicals, okay, and so on and so forth. There are many other countries which are product nations, okay. Now, what are the benefits of being a product nation? Why should India be a product nation? The biggest benefit is strategic autonomy. Because if you are a product nation, the world depends on you. Because the world depends on you, it would be difficult for the world, even the most powerful country of the world, USA, to bully you. Because if you will stop the supply of your product, the world collapses. Right? So, this is the thing. Strategic autonomy is the biggest reason. That is why every policymaker in India wants India to become a product nation, because of this only. Strategic autonomy. Nobody can bully us. Okay. Then the other benefits are economic growth and human resource development, because you are producing high value products. So to produce high value products, you require skilled labor. So you will skill your labor also. Human resource development. Okay. Skilled labor. Then innovation and tech advancement is there. Improved global standing. Your standing improves. Okay. Globally, your reputation will improve that you produce quality products. And once your reputation improves, then more and more foreign investment would come to your country, because all these foreign investors would look at you because your reputation is advanced, right? So it would give you foreign investment also, foreign capital inflows also. We have discussed this. Then beneficial trade balance, because you produce a lot of goods and high value goods, your export earnings are more than your import earnings. So you're earning trade surplus, okay, current account surplus, not current account deficit. Then societal development. Society will also benefit because, well, these technologies would be used in India. India would be independent. Trained workforce would earn more incomes, more economic development, better society, everything, all services would be there. So these are the benefits, key benefits of being a product nation. You understand now what is a product nation, okay? Now, well, do you think India has just realized this? This realization came to India just now that we should be a product nation. If that is the case, then India should be ashamed of itself, or its policymakers should be ashamed of itself that we are realizing this just now. Okay? No, that is not the case. India had this realization way back. Many years ago, India realized this, that we should be a product nation. Then why wasn't India able to become a product nation? If this realization was there, why couldn't we become a product nation and compete with China and other countries? Well, because there are certain challenges. What are those challenges? Okay, these challenges have to be taken care of. Otherwise, India will still not become a product nation. Okay, now what are these challenges? First of all, becoming a product nation requires high-tech innovation, research and development. And India's research and development ecosystem and funding is really low. Okay, lack of innovation in manufacturing and high-tech lags. For instance, India spends only 0.65% of its GDP on R&D, research and development. That is way lower than global average also, and China also. Okay, so this is there. Then import dependence, heavy reliance on energy, fertilizers, medicine, metals, active pharmaceutical ingredients, which are raw materials for medicines, and technology imports makes India vulnerable to supply disruptions. India is not self-reliant when it comes to these key raw materials. And that is why any country can bully it. Okay. Infrastructure deficit. You see, to make these high-tech products, you require high-tech companies. High-tech companies do not want to invest in India. Why? Because India lacks good transportation infrastructure, electricity infrastructure, logistics infrastructure. Why would they want to invest in India? They would invest in other countries where roads are top notch, electricity is top notch, digital connectivity is top notch. So this is something. Then, well, India has a lot of workforce, but that workforce is not skilled, right? So India has a lot of workforce, but these high value products require skilled labor, which India lacks. Plus then the usual suspects, regulatory bottlenecks, policy bottlenecks. What do you mean by that? Well, bureaucrats in India, rules and regulations in India are anti-ease of doing business. That hampers this. Plus, there are many more challenges which are mentioned in your notes. So do go through that as well. But these are the main challenges. Clear? Now, these are the challenges. We all know what are the benefits of becoming a product nation. Therefore, all policymakers are trying to rectify these challenges. But we should know which products are there in which we can become a product nation. What are those products where we can dominate? We can't dominate everywhere. There are certain strategic areas where we have some advantage. And if we capitalize on those advantages, we can dominate in those product segments. So what are those product segments where India has this initial advantage, this opportunity? Okay. So, well, automotive and manufacturing. There are good auto companies in India. Tata, Mahindra, they dominate the world. So this is where India can grow and become a product nation. Electronics and semiconductors. Though Taiwan, South Korea, they are champions when it comes to semiconductors, but India is investing a lot. So this is an area. Then textiles and apparels, renewable energy, solar equipment, food processing. Because India produces all kinds of foods. Because India's climate is varied. We can produce anything. So this is there. Consumer durables like electronics, okay, phone, laptop. Then AI and biotech, renewable energy equipment got repeated, pharmaceutical and medical devices. This is a very good area. So these are some of the areas where we have some advantages, and if we take the right steps, we can dominate in these fields. Okay. And once we dominate in these fields, then we can become a product nation, and it would be difficult for any country to bully us. All right. Make sense? So this is the thing. Now, what is the way forward? What should we do so that we capitalize on these areas? Okay. So the way forward is, first of all, we have already launched a scheme called PLI, Production Linked Incentive Scheme, for these high value products. We should continue investing in these high value products through PLI scheme. Okay. So continue and expand PLI scheme. Then work on infrastructure. Okay. And connectivity. Clear? Electricity, everything. Massive investments in human resources. You need to invest a lot in India's workforce so that they are skilled. And produce and invest in product development platforms like innovation labs, okay, where scientists, researchers can come and innovate. Innovation labs, like for example, there are these Atal tinkering labs under Atal Innovation Mission. So platforms like these should proliferate across India. Okay. Plus, there are many other things that we can do. Those are also mentioned in your notes. Clear? So this is all you need to know as far as product nation is concerned. But along with this topic, there is another concept that you should be aware of, because an MCQ can be asked from there. Okay. And that concept is called smile curve. Okay. Now, smile curve looks like this. And an MCQ can be asked because product nation is in the news. So an MCQ can be asked from this smile curve. Okay. Now, to understand smile curve, you need to understand one more thing. Okay. What is a value chain? You need to understand value chain. It is very important. Okay. So what is a value chain basically? Simply put, let's suppose I'm talking about this pen. Okay. Clear? So how do you make this pen? This pen is made up of plastic. So first you will collect plastic. Then this plastic would be collected. Then this would be given a shape. Okay. Then ink would be filled in this. Right? Then a person would do branding and packaging of this. Marketing, branding, packaging. And then it would be sold to the final consumer. Now remember, all these steps are done by different players. There is a plastic merchant who will sell plastic. Then there is this factory which has a machine which will put this plastic in shape of a pen, molding. Then there is an ink company which will provide ink. Then there is a separate packaging branding company which will do packaging. All these steps are basically undertaken by different players, mostly. Okay. This entire chain is known as value chain of a pen. Similarly, there is a value chain of a car also, value chain of a mobile phone also. Battery is manufactured somewhere, software is manufactured somewhere, screen, camera, right? There is a value chain. You understand? Now, you understand what a value chain is? Now let's take a look at this smile curve. Okay. Let me change the color so that I can explain the smile curve better. Now the x-axis over here is the product life cycle. Okay. And the y-axis is the value added, whether it's a high value product or a low value. Okay. Now in the product life cycle, when you create a product, first you do R&D and you conceive an idea that I will create this type of iPhone, this type of phone. Idea stage. Then there is branding, design. Okay. Then you brand it that I will have an Apple logo over here. Then you design it. The shape should be like this of iPhone. Then you simply manufacture it. Then you distribute it. Then you do marketing. And then you provide after sales services, Apple services. Let's suppose we are talking about Apple iPhone only. Okay. Now, smile curve says that when you move along this product life cycle, okay, this y-axis represents value added. That means manufacturing this is the most low value thing you can do. High value thing is R&D, marketing, branding, design. These things add more value. Manufacturing is a normal blue collar job. This requires skilled people. So the more you concentrate on these areas, the more value you'll add. If branding of Apple iPhones was not that great, it would have been a normal phone. The branding part, marketing part, idea part, innovation part, right? So this is a smile curve. You understand now? So smile curve basically says that, well, as you go ahead, okay, as you navigate through the value chain, the manufacturing portion is the low value portion. Okay, it adds very little value. These things add a lot of value. Clear? And now let's talk about the smile curve. Okay, so you understand the curve. It is in the shape of a smile. That is why it is called a smile curve. Okay, who gave this concept? So this was coined by Stan Sehe, the founder of Acer company, tech company in 1990s. What is the insight? What do you know? Okay, what knowledge is given through this smile curve basically? Highest value is created at the beginning and end of the value chain. At the conception stage, idea stage, and marketing stage. Okay, highest value is created over there. Now for businesses, the idea is that businesses should focus more on idea, R&D, innovation, and marketing. And they can outsource plain and simple manufacturing to other areas. Strategic focus areas for business to increase profitability by emphasizing on innovation, strong brands, customer experience. And production is the least focus area. Make sense? This is what we get to know through smile curve. Now, how is this smile curve important? Or what lesson it teaches India so that it becomes a product nation? Okay. So, smile curve, key learnings. Number one, this model explains why companies often offshore manufacturing to countries. Do you know Apple manufactured iPhones in China? So the manufacturing part, the low value part was offshored or outsourced to China. But the innovation, branding, marketing was done in America because Apple wanted to focus on that and outsource manufacturing, low value activity to somewhere else. Okay? Because they knew that their profits would get increased only through innovation and marketing. You understand? And this shows what India should do also. This model explains why companies often offshore manufacturing to countries with low labor costs while retaining high value activities like innovation, brand building, customer closer to home. Right? It also reflects global economic dynamics where developed countries specialize in high value segments and developing countries, underdeveloped countries just manufacture. So big companies, multinational companies give manufacturing low value job to these small countries, economically less developed countries. Whereas developed countries, high value countries retain these high value jobs. You understand? So if India wants to become a product nation, first of all, it needs to choose the product and then in that product focus more on high value activities as per smile curve. You understand? That's about it. That would be all. So with that, we conclude today's session. I hope you understood Product Nation. Though if there are any doubts, do ask those doubts. Okay? And do not forget to revise this lecture from the notes. Memorize the lecture from the notes. It's very important. All right? So that would be all. I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. It will add more value if you're consistent. So be consistent. And I shall see you next time with another concept or topic in this lecture series called Prelims Power Play. Thank you, everyone.